Karen, your legacy are in peril. Season 2 is my top candidate to be the best release of 2025. I know it has only been 2 episodes, but let's admit it, it's everything and more that we've been dying to get from the Yellowstone universe. In fact, I feel like the show is turning into a redemption arc for the entire franchise, especially after that disastrous Yellowstone finale. That being said, I have to admit it's still early to judge the entire season. Before reaching definitive conclusions, we need to watch the upcoming episode titled Wrapped Thee in Terror. Thankfully, what we know about the episode so far suggests that things will get even more intense, so let's talk about it. It goes without saying that episode 2 was a brutal reminder of how merciless winter can be for the Duttons. We witnessed wolves invading the ranch, terrorizing everyone, while Jacob was forced to free his horses and take refuge under a wagon. I mean, I didn't think things could get worse than this. But of course, I was wrong, because we all know the cold won't stop anytime soon. First of all, we ended episode 2 with a wolf inside the Dutton home, killing the doctor's nurse and attacking Kara. My fingers are crossed that Kara survives. In fact, thanks to the trailer, I know she will, because we still haven't seen her fighting the enemies with that massive rifle in her hand. However, this does not necessarily mean that everyone else will make it. It's expected that Elizabeth will be the hero for once, coming downstairs to kill the wolf, essentially swapping roles with Kara, which will be a turning point in her character arc. However, even if this makes her feel more useful and powerful, will it be enough to convince her to stay on the ranch? I doubt it. She has every right to complain about the harsh conditions there. Plus, is it just me, or does it feel like she barely sees her husband? She's living a lonely, demanding life on a ranch buried under snow and under constant threat from wolves and lions. Something big needs to happen to convince her to stay, and Jack will absolutely try his best to make that happen. We all know Jack is in love with Elizabeth, and losing her would devastate him, but his love is so deep that, in the end, he may agree to separate for a while, at least until winter ends. So prepare your tissues, because we're about to cry in episode 3. Of course, that's just one possibility. Despite all this, there's a brief moment in the official Season 2 trailer that makes me think Elizabeth might decide to stay. In the scene, she and Jack are clearly celebrating something, perhaps another pregnancy or a major life-changing decision that makes them happy as a couple. What do you think their celebration is about? And more importantly, do you think Elizabeth will leave or stay at the ranch? I'm torn, so let me know in the comments. In addition to the physical challenges of the storm, there's the looming threat of the law, which has become even more problematic for the Duttons. We've already seen how capable Jacob is when it comes to manipulating the legal system in the family's favor. However, starting in episode 3, it seems his clever strategies won't be enough to keep things under control. I think this will force him to take even riskier actions. The biggest issue? Donald's evil plan to transform the Yellowstone Ranch into a ski resort. Do you remember the scene in the trailer where he presents his plans to a group of potential investors? That scene will take place in episode 3 and will ignite a massive legal battle between him and the Duttons. Donald is not the type to give up easily, and I have a feeling episode 3 will show him using every dirty trick in the book to make his vision a reality. He's already proven that he's willing to manipulate people to get what he wants, and I suspect he'll escalate his tactics even further. He is expected to argue before the city council that the Duttons are incapable of running the ranch, mainly due to financial struggles. Unfortunately, the Duttons will struggle to defend their case, as they are genuinely facing money problems, especially with winter destroying their assets. But here's the thing, we all know neither Jacob nor Kara will back down easily. As the pressure mounts, things are bound to get even more intense. I'm pretty sure Jacob will take matters into his own hands, pushing the limits even further. If you see him challenging Donald in the craziest ways possible, do not be surprised. In fact, it is expected that Kara will point her rifle at Donald at some point in the episode. Yes, things will get that serious. Based on the actors' interviews, we know that one of Donald's slaves, the 2 women he's forcefully keeping, is about to run away and fight against him. She's expected to merge her powers with the Duttons, putting together all the evidence against him. But when it comes to Donald, it's never easy to get rid of him. Another important development expected to happen is that Donald and Banner will receive Spencer's telegraph before the Duttons. This means they will know that Spencer is on his way to save the Duttons, which will push the evil duo to escalate their plan even further. However, I don't expect the Duttons to get rid of Donald Whitfield early in the season. This entire drama will likely carry into the final 2 episodes and will be resolved by no one other than Spencer. At least that's my opinion. Speaking of Spencer, he's now working for the Italian mafia, handling their delivery in order to use their resources to get to Montana. I know it sounds like a stretch, but it turns out this Italian mafia family was real and actually quite influential at the time. Learning this makes me feel better about Spencer's now annoyingly long journey home. In this episode, we'll see him in Fort Worth, trying to make his delivery, and somehow, he will succeed. The catch, though, is that he will have to face cowboys from the 4-6's ranch while doing so. This will ultimately introduce him to Tiana. Realizing that she's escaping from the priest, Spencer will decide to help her run away. He'll allow Tiana to travel with him, only to be captured by the Oklahoma Marshal at the border. We all know that our beloved Marshal has a big heart and will eventually let Spencer and Tiana continue their journey, but convincing her to join their side won't be easy. In a previous video, I showed you a picture of Spencer and May Fawcett. Regardless of whether Tiana is included in Spencer's storyline, we know that Spencer and May will cross paths at some point, either in this episode or later in the next one. I can't wait to see what kinds of scenes they'll share. I feel like I can hear you asking, what about Alexandra? After all, we barely saw her in the previous episode. Well, there are 2 possibilities. One, she will be kidnapped by a man after her jewelry, forcing her to give up all her belongings and putting her journey to Montana at risk. The other possibility is that she's being followed by her family's men, trying to take her back to England. I think the first option is more plausible, especially since they emphasize how dangerous her journey would be in the tourist section. Given that she presents as a rich woman, it makes sense that thieves would see her as an easy target. Watch this video for a detailed analysis of 1923 Season 2, Episode 2.